Xbox is reportedly considering putting its exclusives on PlayStation 5.
But what does that mean for the platform? And should we be upset about it?
Let's talk about it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Tam, have you had your head under a rock?
Yes, actually.
So last weekend, The Verge put up an article that said that they had heard that the Indiana Jones game that's being made by Machine Games will be coming to PlayStation a few months after it launches on Xbox and PC. Xbox Era posted that they had heard that Starfield was coming after the DLC. There was a data mine on Hi-Fi Rush that suggests that it is coming to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation. There was a lot of back and forth about the fact that Xbox might be pivoting to a multi-platform strategy.
And I assume the internet took that in a very reasonable and measured way. They didn't?
The response to this, and this is to say, we're recording this on Thursday, nothing has been confirmed yet. Phil Spencer did tweet, "We are listening and we hear you."
Yeah.
We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox.
Business update event.
So he tweeted that the other day, obviously making everyone wait over a week while everyone is freaking out.
We should talk about what has happened through the lens of what does Xbox stand to gain, what does Xbox stand to lose, depending on this, and hopefully present our perspective to help some others who are open to thinking about it in different ways, perhaps get a new perspective on it.
What do they have to gain by going multi-platform? And actually, quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's called money.
Money, yeah. Everything that Xbox stands to lose by going multi-platform is pretty much only detrimental in the eyes of people who have a vested interest in validating their purchase or reinforcing a personal identity that is built around Xbox. And those are a lot of people.
I'm a fan of a lot of things. Like you're wearing a Warriors.
Golden State Warriors. Yeah.
I'm wearing a Giant Bomb shirt, but I work there. People know me. They're like, oh, that girl loves Lord of the Rings and Nine Inch Nails,
Bloodborne,
like
so
Hideo Kojima games.
Yeah.
It is fine to like things and be known for liking things and be a part of a community. I think that's really important. And I think over the past few years, Xbox has definitely adjusted their strategy in how they foster and encourage that community.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, especially when you are publishing games and you have a platform, you want to foster that community because you want them to remain on that platform. You want them to be, sorry to say it, it's capitalism. You want them to be spending money on that platform.
There's also an argument to be made, that general one is like exclusivity. The thing that people are saying is like exclusivity garners console and hardware adoption. But if Microsoft are abandoning that line of thinking, is because they have weighed up the kind of value that exclusivity gives Xbox sales versus non-exclusivity versus business growth. So that is not something that they are like very much being like, oh yeah, we don't care about exclusives. They recognize that, in all likelihood, they recognize that yes, Xbox exclusives will sell Xboxes to a degree, but if we put it everywhere, the money and kind of investment that we get back from it so far outweighs the amount of consoles we're likely to sell because of it. So the question that I think people really need to ask themselves, especially people who are very upset about this, are you loyal to the plastic under your TV, or are you loyal to Xbox as a platform? If it's the former, whatever, good for you. Enjoy your life of being at war with other plastic supporters. But if it's the latter, the only viable way, or the most viable way to ensure it continues and is healthy, is if they broaden who can play these games, right?
There's a lot of this mentality where it's like, well, I invested in this platform, I invested in this ecosystem, this is my reward, right? These games.
Yeah.
But there's the other way of looking at it where it's like, well, not everyone can afford to have every platform or is in the privileged position to have that. And why is it bad if they also get to enjoy the thing that you're enjoying? Because also then you can chat to them about it. And it's like,
it's such a bizarre line of thinking. Like if I'm sitting down and I'm playing Hellblade 2, what does someone else that I'm playing on an Xbox, what does someone else that is playing it on a PC or a PlayStation or a GameCube, whatever it's on, yeah. What does them playing it detract from you? Are you sitting there thinking, this game is great, but I hate that someone else is enjoying it too? Someone that isn't holding this exact controller isn't enjoying it. It's a really weird and perverse way of thinking about video games, where it's like I need to deny other people access so that I can only then can I fully appreciate this thing.
Not to dwell on the kind of negative console war stuff, but obviously it has been in full force this week. Let's talk about Xbox's strategy in general. Like, does it devalue the Xbox brand having these exclusives? You know, like Gears of War is being thrown around as a game that might potentially come to PlayStation. Sea of Thieves, does that devalue Xbox as a brand?
Not at all. I think it only increases the value, right? Like it's more adoption of the Xbox content, which means higher profile for those games. And you think about games like Sea of Thieves, which has had a kind of rags to riches success story, where it came out and people were like, it's choppy waters, ha ha ha. But now they're like, this is one of the best live service games. Like, that is, no doubt people have been seeing that and being like, that's really cool. Gears of War, legendary franchise, like changed the video game kind of design landscape for a really long time. People are, Microsoft knows that this has got a legacy. We've just redone all these games. They're available to play. They're really good. Making that available to people outside of the Xbox ecosystem is probably looking very, very attractive to them, because finally they can be like, now everyone will understand why Xbox fans will love this. And that could be the thing that, one, improves investment in the Xbox ecosystem, two, creates new opportunities and opens doors. Like, maybe that, you know, hypothetically, maybe that Gears of War movie gets made now, because like there's the numbers on amount of people playing it and talking about it are so high that
maybe the next Gears game gets made now.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
another Gears game.
Yeah, exactly. Another Gears game either gets fast tracked or is actually made. And look at a studio like Ninja Theory. Like, their history is a small studio in Cambridge that, you know, punched way above its weight and produced some of the best games, my favorite games ever. They are now in a situation where they scaled up massively because they got that Microsoft money. They need to hit targets now. They need to make sure the game they're making is a huge success. If everyone is playing it and everyone can spend money on it, that studio is in a safer position. And in an industry where studios are falling left, right, and center, and games cost so much to make, we simply cannot afford to draw lines in the sand and create tribes.
If you listen to what Phil has said in the past, like, he has conceded that Xbox is in third place.
Yeah.
Definitely grumblings from Bethesda when they were in the process of being bought, where it's like, wait, we're making this game and it's going to be locked to Xbox. It's like, devs make games because they want people to play them.
Yeah.
And if more people can play them, I think that's a good thing.
Think about it this way. Skyrim.
Never heard of it.
Bethesda released that game. Look at the sales numbers for that game. Look at the revenue that game generated. Look at how many platforms that game is on. It's on Amazon Alexa. Imagine telling that team that they will not be able to reach that level of success with their next Elder Scrolls game, which they need to be bigger and better and be more expensive than the last one. That must be like terrifying and infuriating to them. They need to be in a position where every game could potentially be a Skyrim, where it makes so much money and it's available everywhere that, like, your grandma is playing Skyrim. That is what they want. They need in this day and age. And the only way they can do that is by Mr. Gorbachev, tear down those walls.
I mean, the thing that I'm interested in
Mr. Spencer, tear down those walls.
The thing that I'm interested in seeing is how they adopt the strategy. And hey, you can put the clown nose on me if I get this wrong. This is just how I would do it as not someone who does this for a living. Someone who just talks about video games all the time. But it's like, if you really wanted to, like, games, have them locked to Xbox for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Build that anticipation. And then, you know, at that point, PlayStation players are like, oh my God, did you hear about the Blade game from Arcane? I've been wanting to play that. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
Now I can finally play it.
You have the day and date free on Game Pass.
I mean, yeah, Game Pass is not coming to PlayStation.
That is still a jewel in the Microsoft crown. Like, if you want to pay for it on another platform, go for it. But if you're on Xbox, you don't got to pay anything but the subscription fee. You are good. So they still have ways to kind of like make sure that the deal is sweet for their, Xbox adopters. It's just they want to make sure that Xbox as a business remains healthy. And the fact that Microsoft has said we have lost the console war is the clearest indication that if you're out there fighting the console war, you are on your own. They do not care. You should not be riding that hard for a company that has no intention of backing you up on the battle that you're having online.
Also, they just spent $69 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to start making
They got to make that money back. Exactly. And you don't partner with Marvel and get the Blade license and then tell them, we're only going to release this on one platform.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do know from the Insomniac leaks what Marvel's cut is.
It is a big deal, yeah. Relax. Don't ride so hard for any corporation, whether that's PlayStation. And just to be clear, everything that I've said, at least, you can clarify for yourself. I think that applies to Sony as well, and it applies to Nintendo.
It applies to
Nintendo.
Everyone.
I have,
except for PC.
Yeah.
Where I have a PC.
No exclusive for PC, please. Don't give away our exclusives on PC.
I'm kidding.
And by that we mean Minesweeper. But yeah, if that happened to Sony, I would have the same opinion.
Yeah.
If it happened to Nintendo, I would have the same opinion. Nintendo is less inclined to do that stuff because they exist in a business model that is entirely their own. They have curated a world where their investments aren't as high and their returns are super high.
Yeah.
So they're off on their own. Sony has already started doing that with PC ports, and it's working out reasonably well for them. If they decide in the future Xbox is going to play the next Uncharted, let me tell you, I will not shed a single tear.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Spot On. Next week, we're going to be at a convention, but depending on what goes down with the Xbox business update, we'll try and fill in or get some folks in. Could be a very interesting week.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at LucyJamesGames.
You can find me on Twitter at Tamoor H.
I'll see you next time.